again. It's like the video got cut off. So I'm gonna keep reading. Back in Habakkuk chapter 3, verse I'm gonna start at 3 again. Yahweh came from Teman, Yahweh Shai came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. You see, the horns, when you read in the Hebrew, the word horns there, which I'm not too sure what the word is in the Hebrew, but the word horns there means bright beams. Apostle Gabal goes into that a lot. You see, so the bright beams is what the laser beams coming from the ships. You see, and it says, um, before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. The burning coals is gonna be what? The thermonuclear missiles. You see, so when he comes back, those missiles they're gonna be shot off. You see, and it says he stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations. The everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. You see, because the nations they're gonna try to fight against Yahweh Shai. It tells you that in Revelation that there was war in heaven, that Michael and his angel fought against the dragon and his angel, and the dragon was cast out, which that dragon represents Esau's power structure, the NATO, the EU, and along with all those different heathen nations. You see, they're going to try to fight against our Lord, but the Lord is going to blast them to powder, which I'm going to get that in 2nd Ezra 13. And it says, I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. You nations are going to shake when Yahweh shall come back. It says, was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Hey, the Lord is gonna make waste mountains, man. And hills. You see, he gonna dry everything up by the way of this missile. So it's gonna seem like the Lord got beef with the land itself, like the Lord got beef with the planet itself. You see, because he's gonna bring great destruction. You see, that thou didst ride upon thy horses and thy chariots of salvation. So those horses, the chariots of salvation, those so-called UFOs, that's what the Lord is coming back to bring to the nation of Israel. He's coming to beam us up. You see, the elect, you see? And it says, thy bow was made quite naked according to the oaths of the tribe, even thy word Selah, thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. And it says, it says, the mountains saw thee and they trembled, the overflowing of waters passed by, the deep uttered his voice and lift up his hands on high. Because those missiles, like it says in 2nd Ezra 16, matter of fact, let's get that real quick. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse, no, is it 16? Yeah, 16. 16, verse, I'm gonna start at 9. A fire shall go forth from his wrath, and who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? You see, he's going to turn you to dust and powder by those missiles, man. You see? And it says, the earth quaketh and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth up with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord and before the glory of his power. Those missiles are going to cause that great earthquake to where tsunamis is going to be going on. Tsunamis are miles high. It's going to cover certain places because the Lord is coming to reshape the whole landscape of the planet Earth. You see, certain places are going to get drowned up. New islands is going to be formed. New continents is going to be formed. You see. Because those missiles, you see, and it says, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, which those arrows is the thermonuclear missiles, because you can't shoot an arrow from one end of the earth to the other. That's talking about the modern day ICBM missiles that's going to be shot from intercontinental ballistic missile that's going to be shot from one end of the earth to the other, from those different heathen nations, upon America. And it says, Habakkuk 3 and 11, the sun and moon stood still in their habitation at the light of thine arrows. They went at the shining of thy glittering spear. Those missiles. Thou didst march through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. You see? So the Lord is coming to thresh you heathens in anger. He's angry at what you did to his people. You see? You even possess his land over there, the land of Israel. You got Amalekites calling themselves the Jews of the Bible, along with Arabs, which are Ishmaelites, and Hamites, the so-called Africans, you see, claiming to be the people of the Most High, you see? And it says, thou went forth for the salvation of thy people, without an anoint, even for the salvation without anointed. Yahweh Shah is coming to bring us salvation. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the foundation even unto the neck. You see? So this is Second Ezra chapter 13. Second Ezra chapter 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that men waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, which is Yahweh Shai. He's coming back with the thousands, the innumerable amount of angels. And it says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that was seen under him. So you nations, you're going to tremble. You see, you heathens, you're going to tremble when Yahweh Shai comes back. You see, when he give you that look, that angry look, you're going to be trembling. You know, because who's going to be able to deliver you from the hand of Yahweh Shai? You see? And it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. When he screamed, the nations are going to try to fight against Yahweh Shai, come up against him. You see, with those fighter jets, you know, and weapons that they got out there in outer space. That's why Trump trying to create a space force. You see? So he's just going to shout, and it's going to be his breath like radiation, man. His breath is like thermonuclear fire, man. The Lord gonna just scream and everything gonna be burnt, you know. And it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, or they burnt that heard his voice, which is the laser beams, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea, which is those nations they're gonna try to fight against Yahweh Shai. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Now you know that you can't fly up on a mountain. So Ezra was seeing that chariot, that gigantic UFO. It was so huge you can only describe it as a mountain. You see, that's what Yahweh Shai flew upon. You see, they show you that in the movie Independence Day. You know, that great, the great mothership. You know, which is really the fathership. You know, that covered the whole earth. You see, and it says, but I would have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not, because hey, it covered both hemispheres. You know. And it says, and I would have seen the regional place where the hill was graven, and I could not. After this I beheld, lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, yet durst fight. Because the Lord is going to put that spirit on you to fight against him. Because it ain't going to be no fair fight if you don't want to fight, you know, if you don't have the will to fight and he's just beating you up. No, he's going to make you fight so he could be justified in destroying you know. And it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he set out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, the laser beams, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up everyone, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. You see? So dust and smell of smoke. You know, Yahweh Shai is coming to burn you up. You see? You heathens, you know, mainly you so-called white people, you Edomites, you're going to try to fight against our Lord, you know, but you're going to be taken down. You see? You know, like that scene from the movie Apocalypse, you know, X-Men Apocalypse. You know, I love this scene where Apocalypse, you know, he took control over the minds of all the military men, you know, had them to shoot the missiles. You see, had them shoot the missiles up. And what did he say? He said you could shoot your arrows, you know, from the Tower of Babel, you know, which was arrows or ICBMs, and Babel is America, but you would never strike God. You can never touch Yahweh Shai. You know, he's your creator, you know, the Almighty, you know. So yeah, I'm going to end it, you know. I went on longer than I expected, you know, so the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Shah for giving me the Racha Kodash to do this video. And double honors to my apostles and my others at Great Stone. They give me this truth and all this purity. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.